I will now take a look at all the other movies I've seen in this week. Yeah, football season is starting and I'm a huge fan. So I've of course watched Any Given Sunday. It's the old US release. I know some people hate this movie, but I absolutely love it. I love how the characters work and how it's portrayed, and I really think it hits some very, very good points about the football industry and the football life and life of the players, and how some of them don't want to give up, even if they are paralyzed, and how old quarterbacks just will not give up their spot and stuff like that. It's a very, very good movie, and the release is pretty good as well. It's in a snapper case. I love snapper cases. But it's the director's cut. I've never seen the theatrical cut because this is the only version I've ever had. I'm looking into maybe getting the Blu Ray, but it's awesome. Yeah, and I've seen Jerry Maguire. This was the first time I saw this. I don't know. This is their Danish 2-disc release. I think it's the same special edition worldwide. So it's also a part football, part romantic comedy. It's about Tom Cruise, who is Jerry Maguire, who is a sport agent who gets fired because he loses his fucking mind, and now he has to hook up with Renée Zellweger, and Cuban Gooding Jr. is like his only client. But it's fun, and I would have loved for it to have some more sports moments in it, but it really more is a romantic comedy, and I have to say, what the fuck is up with Cuba Gooding Jr.'s career? After he made this movie, he have just made some horrific choices. Yeah, it's a shame because he's so awesome in this one. Some people might know this, but I'm very much against the war, and I'm very political. And one of my other interests are politics. So yeah, this one hits home for me. Lord of War. It's about Nicolas Cage, who sells weapons to like everybody who wants to buy them, and he starts like a civil war in Africa, and doesn't mind being part of genocides and shit like that. It's really, really good, and the release is good. It's the Danish release, and it's like in the original aspect ratio, and it's so fucking awesome. It's like he does this, and he gets on drugs and has guns and money, and he gets his brother involved, and they just go on a fucking rampage, and it's just a good old fun movie. But it was too controversial to be made in the US, so they had to get European financing on it. So I don't know. I love that aspect of it, because it really shows that it's a movie that people like Nicolas Cage really wanted to make, and it has a strong political message, and I love movies that have that. So I would really recommend it to like everybody, and the release is also very good. The next one I have seen is like one of my favorite movies of all time, Untouchables. I know I say this a lot, but like gangster films are also one of my favorite genres, and this one is one of the best. It's not as character driven as many of the others. It's more like an Hollywood action movie in the build up, and you can see that on the running time as well, because it's only 2 hours, but for what it is and for what it tries to do, it really hits home well. I got the UK collector's edition, which is in like a digi pack with like a poster and stuff. So yeah, it's a good release, and the movie is awesome. It's it has Robert De Niro playing Al Capone in what I think is one of his best roles of all times, and also Kevin Costner as Elliot Ness is one of his best roles of all time, and Sean Connery as Malone is also one of his best. So it has these very, very good acting performances, and it's well directed. Brian De Palma is one of my favorites as well. I think he's overlooked many times when you talk about some of the best directors in the last 30 years, because he made some awesome movies in the 80s. But yeah. So I would definitely recommend this to anybody. The next one I've watched is Cold Mountain. I thought about putting it in with the westerns in the video I made of them, but in the end I end up not doing it, because it's not really a western. It's more like a war movie, but set in the Civil War. So I've been wanting to see this for many years, but just never came around to it. But now I did, and it's pretty good. Not as good as I expected, but it has some very, very good acting performances by Renee Zellweger and Nicole Kidman, the two leading characters, because it's about Jude Law, who goes to war but ends up getting hurt and tries to defect the army and get home. But it's also, or maybe even more, about what happens to the people when he leaves his wife, and how she copes with it, what she does to like survive and stuff like that. So it really is a war movie and an anti-war movie at the same time. It's really, really good. It's very long as well. I think they could have cut down some of the subplots and shaved off like 30 minutes, because in the end it's just yeah, it goes on forever. And the release I have is the UK version. It's a 2-disc as well. It has a DTS soundtrack, and it's pretty good. The extras are pretty good as well. They are not. I would have liked some more like historical documentaries, like how does this fit in with like what really happened. But whatever, it doesn't have that. But it's a movie I would recommend to like war movie fans and anti-war movie fans. It's not an action-packed war movie, but it's like The Path of Glory and stuff like that. So if you're into movies like that, Casualties of War and stuff like that, this yeah, you should watch that one. Yeah, and the last one I've watched, I just saw yesterday, in fact, and that's Night and Day. I had a friend over and we were talking what should we watch today, and we ended up picking this one, and it's a fun ride. Started watching it, I had a feeling that it would be like a movie in the same caliber of Mission Impossible, and yeah, I was right, because it is, but it has a few twists that doesn't make it exactly like Mission Impossible, but it's very, very hard to see Tom Cruise in movies like this and not think of Ethan Hunt and Mission Impossible. It plays a bit more on the comedy factor, and he has Cameron Diaz as his female co-star, which he really doesn't have in Mission Impossible movies. So, but it has some good action scenes, and it's just an all-out fun ride. If you're into these like action movies, Hollywood action movies, and Tom Cruise and the kind of comedy that he does, it's a no-brainer. Then you should watch it. I had a pretty good time. It's not the best movie I've seen, but far from the worst. It's about Tom Cruise, who tries to stop this other. Tom Cruise is a FBI agent, I think it is, or CIA, one of the other. Who tries to stop this agent from stealing a new like energy source and selling it on the black market, and now the agent he's trying to stop has made it look like it's actually Tom Cruise who's trying to sell it and stuff like that. And now the chase they go all around the world, and yeah, it's like mouse and cat. They chase each other a little around. So now they have the energy source, now they have the energy source, now they have the energy source, and they just go round and round. But it's fun, and always something new, and a new few twists here and there. So yeah, if you're into Hollywood action, I would recommend it. That's for sure. So yeah, that concludes this update. I don't know. It really depends on how many movies I get to watch. If I will continue to do these like big movie updates where I take a look at more than one at a time, or if I will continue to make the individual reviews. If you have I would like to hear your opinion on it. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to keep on doing the individual reviews? Then I will do that. But I think for the most part I will be doing these like compilation reviews in the future, and I will aim at doing at least one a week, and probably more, because I do watch a lot of movies. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I won't do individual releases from time to time. But let me hear what you think.